This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
They're all sticking close to me because it's so goddamn cold in here. So, like, he's really wanting to be over here. I've got the heated blanket. He really wants to be over here on the blanket. You want to come back? I'm sorry. Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. Good evening. Me Gangs, M Lord, Dougie. It's a freaking Tuesday. News be doing all kinds of crazy, stupid shit. We're gonna talk about it. I've had a weird day. Haven't we had a weird day, buddy? Suddenly your cat's a cuddle puss. All three of them have just been boop. That's why I was in bed as wrapped up as I could be as I had dinner baking. I specifically baked chicken because I was like, yeah, let's run the oven right now. Let's get the apartment as warm as we can get it. I can't believe that, like, it's fine in here if it's 30, 40 degrees. It ain't anywhere near 30, 40 degrees right now. Turkey for dinner sounds really good. Did you make all the trimmings? Did you have, stuffing and mashed potatoes and gravy and all that good shit? I'm a big fan. I do open-faced turkey sandwiches a lot. You toast up your bread, you put your mashed potatoes on there, gravy, turkey. Hell yeah, baked potatoes. That's what I had with my mesquite chicken tonight. I had a salad. Cheesy baked potato, salad, mesquite chicken. Maynard is, and like, I've noticed cats, when they're cold, move a lot less. Like, they just sit in the bundle, and they don't want to get up and stuff. I'm sorry, babies. I guess this is their first time ever being in an apartment that didn't have central heating and air. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. We've always been, like, temperature controlled in our apartments. I apologize. Oh, Daddy's so sorry. Wait until it's hot. Wait until it's going to be like 2 weeks and we're going to have like 80-degree weather. And it's going to be sweltering in here. Yeah, wait until it's hot, baby. It says it's 18 right now. I feel like it's a lot colder than that. Here's your meme of the day. Bernie this is the same pose he was making when he was outside in 2020 with mittens and a big jacket on. The same exact pose. Bernie once again going viral for his look at an inauguration. Jesus, negative 18. I would say with the wind chill, we're probably like at seeing like 5, 4, 3 degrees, something like that. We're gonna tell you, and I didn't get hit with the snow this time. It is snowing to the south of me. It's snowing in Florida. It is snowing in Texas and Louisiana. Historic snowstorm, places that have never had snow advisories before. Oh shit. 40 fucking 7 in Central. You're supposed to be having these temperatures, Lord. That's what it's supposed to be here. I'm in the South. It's supposed to be warm, mild winter. It's supposed to be goddamn 18 where you are. It ain't funny. This shit is horrible. My apartment smells like cat shit because I haven't took the bags of cat shit out. Because it's fucking cold out there. I've emptied the litter box and everything, but I got bags of cat shit piled up. Michael, good evening. It's 30 where he lives in Texas. Damn. That was something I saw yesterday. There were birds. There were like large flocks of birds going by, and I'm like, is that supposed to be happening? Aren't you guys not supposed to be here already? Like, I realize, like, I'm in the South, but I'm still far enough north to where, like, the birds migrate further south than me. And just to be clear, I am originally from Kentucky. Kentucky fought for the Union. Let's make that clear. Kentucky fought for the Union. Even when I went to school at East Tennessee State University in Johnson City, where I went to school, that area wanted to secede from Tennessee and fight the Union. So us rednecks, we're a different breed, right? These are some sort of blackbirds that were flying. And they were flying in big flocks. I don't know. I don't know anything about bird law. I'm not an expert at bird law. Most of the news tonight is Trump. Do you really want me to go over it? I don't even have any crime stories or anything. This is life in the Trump administration. I got 3 pages of notes of Trump stories, and it makes me sick to my stomach because that's the way it used to be. That's the way it was when I first started doing the Troll Patrol. It was like I had a COVID section and a Trump section, and now we're back to that shit again. I don't like it. Nancy Mace loves celebrities. Trump fucked people over on drug prices. We're going to talk about the impact of withdrawing from the World Health Organization. Dan Crenshaw attacked Tim Cook and Apple. Trump giving a press conference today. We're going to hear updates about TikTok. We're going to talk about his purging of appointees of Biden appointees. Dems, Chris Murphy from Connecticut, blocking a vote on Trump's nominee, John Ratcliffe, to head the the NSA? To be director of national security. I forget what the actual post is. I'm fucking it up right now. I'm not stoned enough. We're going to hear from Marco Rubio on Trump breaking his promise to end the war in Ukraine on day 1. Elise Stefanik was asked about Musk and his Nazi salute. Senators receiving a new report on Pete Hegseth. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. Quesadilla. PP Girl. No chase, but I did get called a chaser. Had a fight with a trans friend of mine today because for some reason she thought I was being transphobic when I was bullying a transphobe, and it pissed me off. I'd already been getting pissed at her for several other reasons, and she caught me at the wrong moment in time. Didn't act like, hey, I'm not clear what you're saying here. No, that wasn't what happened. Just came right out and fucking accused me of some bullshit. I've slept with the girl before. She called me a chaser. Said, you're not an ally, you're a chaser. I was like, fuck you. But I've also been very mad at her girlfriend, because her girlfriend all the time on Facebook, like, oh, people won't work with me because I'm trans. People won't work with me because I'm trans. She made a post today about how nobody wanted to collaborate with her, and I was like, I reached out to you one time, and I told her this. She probably deleted me too today. I was like, I reached out to you one time to collaborate with me, and you said, well, I'll need to figure out how to make it worth my while. And that rubbed me the wrong way, insulted the shit out of me, and that's why nobody wants to collaborate with you. Has nothing to do with you being trans. Sorry. But Lord, Zon, anonymously. Welcome in, friends. I'll calm down. It's just been a weird fucking day. And then I was friends with this girl that I found on OnlyFans. And like I felt like I had struck up a good friendship with her, and she didn't like something I said about the TikTok ban. And then that goes back to the whole like my view on Twitch not being a goddamn job. Minty, good evening. Your business depends on one platform. One platform can take your entire business out. You don't run a business. You just got lucky on one algorithm. I'm sorry. I'll try to get unupset. She didn't. To be fair, my post was weird. I can understand how somebody could misinterpret it. Okay, so I woke up to my friends bullying this transphobe. He had gone out to dinner, and he had taken a picture of a woman and posted it. And I don't even know that the woman was trans. It could have been a cis woman. Seriously, just from the picture, it could have just been a cis woman that they're transvestigating and getting wrong. It could have been a trans. Who knows? Who gives a shit, right? But he takes his picture and he's bullying somebody on his Facebook. So I took his exact words, what he said about, you can't put a dress on a man and make it a woman or something, and shared out a picture of his wife, who was cross-eyed, by the way. No, I found them from OnlyFans. And then became friends with them on a different social media platform. And I thought I was legitimately becoming friends with her. She'd laugh at my shit, I laugh at her shit. We had very good interactions. And she got upset about me mocking people whining about TikTok. Like, and here's my view on it, is if you are running a legitimate business, then TikTok is just a platform. It's just a tool that your business is using. If TikTok being banned can take out your entire business, you don't have a business. I'm sorry if that feels cruel or something. Torchy, good evening. But if you were lucky enough to go viral on one algorithm, you should take that opportunity to diversify, to build yourself on other platforms, so that you have an actual business and one platform can't take you out. Not be, because here's the thing, is whether it's a TikTok ban by the U.S. government or whether it's just TikTok changing its algorithm down the line, you're going to have to deal with these consequences. And I use the example of the adpocalypse on YouTube, or, Twitch suspending advertisement on political content. Facebook before this past election I don't want to say, like, I still earned money on Facebook, but I guess it deprioritized political content. I don't know. Oh, I'm ranting. It's 15 after. I promised news by 10 after. Why did you guys not stop me? God damn it. People. Stay on top of things, because I'm not going to. Did I run down what we were going to be talking about? The news is worse. Donald Trump very unhappy with a Episcopal bishop at this morning's prayer service.
Unity is relatively easy to pray for on occasions of great solemnity. It's a lot harder to realize when we're dealing with real differences in our private lives and in the...
He's not even paying attention.
But without unity, we're building our nation's house.
Fair enough, Mr. Elwood, and good evening.
And with a commitment to unity that incorporates diversity and transcends disagreement.
Do Ron Bet. What's going on, my friend? Thank you for being a freaking follower.
Dignity, honesty, and humility that such unity requires. We can do our part and in our time to realize the ideals and the dream of America. Let me make one final plea.
What the fuck? They let Tiffany in this? Wow. She's my favorite Trump, by the way. I think she's kind of cute.
Mr. President, millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples.
Yeah, Melania looks absolutely pissed. Tiffany's kind of laughing it off. I don't know that Eric knows what's going on. Laura definitely does. Laura might be the smartest of all the people in the frame. And I mean, she's cooking him with the words of the Bible, the literal words of Jesus Christ, if you believe in that shit. And he is definitely not enjoying it.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world.
Wow. I'm no fan of religious people. But she absolutely did a number on him to his face. That's not Trump's kind of preacher. This is Trump's kind of preacher. This was the benediction at Trump's inauguration yesterday.
Let us pray for our 47th president. Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that you gave our 45th and now our 47th president a millimeter miracle. We are grateful that you are.
He's got a millimeter miracle.
Called him for such a time as this, that America would begin to dream again. We pray that we would fulfill the true meaning of our creed, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We pray that you use our president, that we will live in a nation where we will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we are so grateful to.
Remember what Bernice King said yesterday, that there would be people twisting the words of her father.
That you will use our 47th president so we would sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and because America is called to be a great nation, we believe that you will make this come true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring.
Is this a Wayans brother character?
New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous hilltops of California,
Curvaceous!
God, we're asking you not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill in Mississippi, from
Every molehill.
every city, every village, and every hamlet. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day where all of your children, black men and white men, Protestant and Catholic, Jew and Gentile, will be able to sing in the meaning of that old Negro spiritual, free at last. Free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We are free at last. If you believe where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Come on, put your hands together and give your great God
YMCA. This was the benediction yesterday at Trump's inauguration. I keep getting his name wrong, because I just wrote in my notes as crazy pastor. I'm sorry. It's Lorenzo Soul or something like that. Hold on. Let me get it correct. Lorenzo Soul or Sewell. That was the pastor giving the benediction, not invocation. Because what would Jesus do, right? Jesus would give the benediction at an inauguration and then immediately drop a meme coin.
I need you to do me a favor right now. I need you to go buy the official Lorenzo Sewell. I want you to be able to see politics become manifest, not just in a way where we're praying over political gatherings, but where we're seeing us become the hands and the feet of the Lord Jesus Christ. Would you help me? Would you help us in this endeavor? Would you go and purchase the coin in order for us to do what we need to do in the ministry? We do transportation, housing, education. We heal medical, mental, and dental illnesses. I need you to do me a favor and go and get that coin in order for us to accomplish the vision that God has called us to do in our earth. I give God glory for what he has done, but we know that King's dream can only be fulfilled if we acknowledge that people are living in a nightmare. So here's your...
Wow! Invokes not only Jeebus, but Martin Luther King Jr. as well. Holy shit. Josephus, Carla, good evening. Several others snuck in here while we were watching that. Socialist Aunt. Hold on. I had a really special message. I wanna read that. I want to go back. I didn't get a catch it first thing. Fuzzy Simba, Staffy, Mirage Leonardo says that I'm the type of guy that sits there with his mouth open while Hassan takes a piss in it. Then when he asks if you want seconds, you smile and say, yes, daddy. My friend, I've never watched this one. Not like maybe 5 minutes worth. I'll tell you what kind of guy I am, though, if you want to talk about water sports. I'm the kind of guy that wants to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Maybe it's some sort of power play. Maybe it's a sexual fetish. But I really want that eye pussy. It looks really dry, and I would like to piss in it. That's Representative Dan Crenshaw of Texas. If you would like to call his office and advocate him letting me piss in his open eye hole. Pump and dump sounds like what I want to do to Dan Crenshaw's eye pussy. Holiday, good evening. DJ Dub, good evening. If you missed the meme of the day from earlier, gotta get out of my pornography folder there. Hold on. Get into the meme folder. Here is your meme of the day. Bernie attending the inauguration yesterday. He was there. Let's have him tell us what he learned.
Trump inauguration yesterday, and needless to say, I disagree with much of what he had to say. But what really struck me, however, is not what he said, which was not surprising given his rhetoric, but what he didn't say.
Pinbox.
The simple truth is that Donald Trump gave a major speech, the first speech of his second presidency, and ignored virtually every important issue facing the working families of this country. How crazy is that? Our healthcare system is broken, is dysfunctional, and it's wildly expensive. Not one word from Trump about how he is going to address the healthcare crisis. We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, sometimes 10 times more than the people in other countries. And 1 out of 4 Americans are unable to afford the prescriptions that their doctors prescribe. Not one word in his speech on the high cost of prescriptions.
Not one word about Luigi.
We have 800,000 Americans who are homeless and millions.
Pardon Luigi.
Spending 50 or 60%.
Donald Trump, pardon Luigi, you coward. You little bitch, you're not going to do it. You won't pardon Luigi. That's what the American people want. I mean, I applaud you for pardoning, what's his name? The Silk Road dude, Albrecht. I didn't get it on the list, but he pardoned, somebody say what his name is. Dude, Ron Bett. No, of course he's not going to do it because Luigi is an enemy of people that don't want to see Luigi freed. Luigi is an enemy of the people that fund Donald Trump. He is an enemy of the billionaires. The billionaires are the ones that run the country now.
Of their limited income on housing. We have a major
Yeah, I got it backwards at first.
crisis in America. Everybody knows it. And Trump, in his inaugural address, did not devote one word to it. Today in America, we have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had. The wealthiest 3 people in America now own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. But Trump had nothing to say, not one word, about the growing gap between the very rich and everybody else. And maybe, just maybe, that's because he had those 3 people, the 3 wealthiest people in our country, sitting right behind them at his inauguration. And I should add that those 3 people, if you can believe it, and this really is unbelievable, saw
I believe it.
increase by more than $233 billion since the November elections. How's that? $233 billion increase in wealth for the 3 wealthiest people. No wonder they were sitting right behind Donald Trump at his inauguration. They couldn't be happier. During his inaugural speech, Trump did not have one word to say about how we're going to address the planetary crisis of climate change. The last 10 years have been the warmest years ever recorded, and extreme weather disturbances and natural disasters are taking place all over the world, from Los Angeles to India, across Europe to North Carolina. Not one word from Trump about climate change, except, of course, to make it clear that he intends to make this horrific situation even worse with drill, baby, drill. Just brilliant.
I mean, we're already producing more oil than any country in history.
It's not just to respond to every absurd statement that Donald Trump makes. Our job is to stay focused on the issues that are of importance to the working families of our country, and in fact are widely supported by the American people. Let me just mention a few of them. Yes, healthcare is a human right, and we must join every other major country in guaranteeing healthcare to all people through a Medicare for All single-payer program. Healthcare is a human right. Yes, we must take on the greed of Big Pharma and substantially lower the cost of prescription drugs in this country. Yes, we must build millions of units of affordable housing and low-income housing. Yes, we must make sure that all of our young people have the ability to get a higher education by making public colleges and universities tuition-free. Yes, we must work with the global community to combat climate change by cutting carbon emissions and transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel and into sustainable energy. Yes, we must pass legislation to raise the absurdly low federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour to a living wage of $17 an hour.
It's like $25 an hour now.
We in this country should not be living in poverty. Yes, we must pass the PRO Act and make it easier for workers to join trade unions and grow the trade union movement in America. Yes, in order to help fund the needs of working families in this country, we must demand that the wealthiest people in this country, including those individuals sitting right beside Donald Trump at his inaugural, start paying their fair share of taxes. Yes, we must end a corrupt campaign finance system which allows a handful of billionaires to buy elections and move us rapidly into an oligarchic form of society. Bottom line, as we enter the new Trump presidency, we have got to remain focused. We cannot panic. No matter how many executive orders he signs, and no matter how many absurd statements he makes, our goal remains the same. We have got to educate. We have got to organize. We've got to put pressure on Congress to do the right things. And by the way, with Republicans only holding a 3 or 4 seat advantage in the House, we can stop them time and time again if we are organized. Finally, my friends, we have got to fight to create an America based on economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That's what we've got to work on. Let's go forward. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie. You are amazing. Bernie's words gave me encouragement as an American. I forgot we were going to do a new tradition here on the show. Every night we're going to start saying the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to get some nationalism and some love for our country going in this chat because you guys need it. So we need some patriotic Americans in this here troll patrol. So please join me. Put your hand over your heart, saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you very, very much for letting us little kids live here. It really, really was nice of you. You didn't have to do it. And it's really not freaky to have little kids mindlessly recite this anthem every day and pledge their life to a government before they're old enough to really think about what they're saying.
Lenny, you got here just in time to say the pledge.
Brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is really the greatest country in the whole world. All the other countries suck. And if this country ever goes to war, as it's often wants to do, I promise to help go and kill all the other countries' kids. God bless Johnson & Johnson. God bless GE. God bless Citigroup. Amen.
Very good, kids. Now come and get your Ritalin.
X1011, good evening. Welcome in, Lenny. Good evening. All right, I know what you guys are talking about here. Okay, question marks. Local sex pot, Trevor Moore. He died trying to suck his own dick. So he died doing what he loved. Oh my God. So there are reputable data scientists that say the numbers in the election don't match up. It is odd that he won all 7 swing states handily. And they have multiple times made jokes about how they stole the election. It's weird. It's very weird, but there is no concrete evidence. So I don't really want to sound like a blue anon, but there is some weird shit going on. Once again, like I've made mention of it. I think we went over it one night. I gave it just a little bit of air. The idea that the numbers really don't match up. That they have done the math, because we kind of covered it, but I didn't even know the extent. There was like 300 or something bomb threats strategically on these polling places. There was the whole Elon and the contest for the $1 million was all wild. Somebody needs to call Scott Steiner indeed if we need some math done. God damn. Where's he at? Oh.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
And Trump himself, before the election, made mention that we have it in the bag. We got a surprise. I think we were watching that rally live, and I'm like, what does he mean by that? And afterwards, they've made some really weird comments. Well, as I've seen it, you know, the strategic bomb threats, because there's a reason I was so confident on election night. It was exit polls. It was turnout. Good evening, Avalon. So, energy flow. I don't know, but like I don't want to sound like a blue anon or anything, but like I don't trust our election process going forward. I don't like what that news be doing either. We covered the inauguration ball last night. Do I need to have a content warning for this woman anytime I show her? She can be my GOP mommy, but I feel like the chat wants me to content warning her from now on. Hopefully she showed a little cleavage. Nancy Mace couldn't stop taking thirsty celeb selfies at Trump inauguration ball. There she is with Joe Rogan. There she is with Logan Paul. Something about the Logans. Logan Rogan. Nobody was thirstier for celebrity selfies during post-inauguration festivities than anti-trans firebrand Nancy Mace, and she's not ashamed of it. The far-right congresswoman and Donald Trump diehard posted a bonkers supercut of her photos with more than a dozen of the biggest names in MAGA world. There's Shapiro. I don't even, was that? That's Vivek. Tyson was there? I mean, I guess that makes sense. Rogan, I don't know who that dude is. Logan Paul, I don't know who that dude is. Shapiro. Was that Vince Vaughn? Was that Vince Vaughn? Or do I just... this one is, Kellyanne Conway. Who's this dude? Is that Kellyanne Conway's new dude? Ben Shapiro. Yep, that's Vince Vaughn. Mike Tyson. Who's that woman? Is she supposed to be somebody? Shelly, good evening. Why are you over on the YouTube with the plebes? Sorry, YouTube people. Okay, who are those dudes? Vivek was already forced out at this time, wasn't he? Yeah. That wasn't Snoop Dogg, was it? No. I don't even know who that guy is. Oh, Waka Flocka Flame. What the? What? Waka Flocka? Why is he there? Seriously? He has a GOP mommy. Good one, Flash. He came to my concert. He came to my college and did a free concert when I was sophomore, junior in college or something. My girlfriend at the time was a real music snob. And she didn't want to go. She's like, no, I don't want to go with that. I was like, no, I totally want to go see. I mean, not a fan, but it's a free concert. I'm into live music. You guys know I'm into live music. Hell, I'm so into live music. We tried to watch Billy Ray Cyrus last night, and he really sucked ass so bad. USA Today out here writing articles about how bad he sucked. Billy Ray Cyrus raises eyebrows with performance at post-inauguration Liberty Ball. Achy Breaky broke down. Oh, shit. Billy Ray Cyrus rang in President Trump's inauguration on Monday with a performance that left fans both confused and disappointed. It was weird. We saw a part of it. One of several headliners at the Liberty Ball, a gala following the swearing in, Cyrus treated audiences to his 2019 remix of Old Town Road, the boot-stomping new American hit from Lil Nas X. We didn't see that part. In a bizarre choice, Cyrus seemed to be mostly watching the music video playing behind him on large projectors, turning only to mutter his parts of the song into the mic at a decimal too low to distinguish him from the recording. After the video wrapped, Cyrus went for an encore of the same song, delivering lyrics in a shaky, soft-spoken or a shaky-spoken word tone rather than the booming vocals offered in the original, and walking across the stage to hand out the mic for audience participation. Moving into the song that made him famous, Cyrus attempted to play Achy Breaky Heart. He discovered his electric guitar was not hooked up to the audio system. Is that what this video is? Was this the whole thing? Okay, here we go. This was the Achy Breaky Heart. Yeah.
Hey, is my guitar still on? I think they cut me off. Is my guitar on, guys? I don't hear my guitar anymore.
This is amazing.
Check. Is anybody awake?
No, they got rid of the woke.
Hear this?
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Woke ended yesterday.
Can somebody turn my guitar back on? We're going to sing a little bit more. Y'all want to sing more, or you want me to just get the hell off the stage? I don't give a damn.
You don't give a damn.
I'm probably tired of listening to the music over and over. And I says, you know what? These people want to party. They want to party. Here he goes. Hold on. I bet I got excited and unplugged it. Yeah, volume's up. See, it's not on.
Oh, shit. Is he a smoker?
Well, let's see. I could try like this. I mean, after what Carrie Underwood did today, wasn't Carrie Underwood fabulous? Carrie Underwood, you were amazing today. They had technical difficulties.
Rob Zombie's cousin. His country cousin.
When you have technical difficulties, you just got to keep going.
Rob Zombie also
Or
terrible on stage.
Would say you got to fight. Woo! How good was it to see our president back in command, President Trump?
I mean, light one up, tip one back.
What do you think?
I don't blame anybody on that one.
I mean, it won't play.
Get high and drunk at the inauguration.
I'm on, but it ain't playing, man. I guess it's dead. You know what? Hell, just snap your fingers. That's okay, bud. That's okay. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes up when I'm gone. Come on, like this. Or you can tell your friend just what a fool I've been and laugh and joke about me on the phone. There you go. Or you can tell mom go back to the farm. Or you can tell my feet to hit the floor. Or you can tell my lips to tell my fingertips they won't be reaching out for you no more. One time. Don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think you'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill his band.
Ah!
Thank you, good night.
OMG. Good evening. That was Billy Ray Cyrus attempting to perform at the inauguration ball last night, doing such a bad job that people are wondering if he's okay. People are worried about Billy Ray Cyrus's health after that. Oh, so the Trump administration off to a roaring start. Let's hear from our favorite senator, the senator from Louisiana, what he thinks about the start of the second Trump administration. Oh, do I need a content warning? Look at the look on his face. He means business. That's a man that's got cock on his mind.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Senator, welcome again. You know, what does it look like to you, and will it be different this time? Will there be a lot of Republican progress given the leverage that you have right now?
Well, point one, Martha, one bill or two, frankly, you can teach it round or you can teach it flat.
What?
I don't really give a function whether it's.
I don't really give a function. How does he come up with this shit? I want to see this motherfucker do stand up. This is the new stand up comedy. I'm just gonna start going and reading fucking Senator Kennedy quotes, and I will kill. This is amazing material.
Welcome again. You know, what does it look like to you, and will it be different this time? Will there be a lot of Republican progress given the leverage that you have right now?
Well, point one, Martha, one bill or two, frankly, you
two bills
round or you can teach it flat. I don't really give a function whether it's one bill or two. I care about the final product. My advice to my colleagues and to the president is, number one, don't get distracted. Very shortly, the honeymoon will be over. My Democratic colleagues and many members of the media will start calling us, particularly the president, crazy. They said the same thing.
Brother, we've thought you were crazy for years now. It didn't just start. It's not going to start here soon. It's been going. Rush Limbaugh was calling you fuckers crazy.
As a conservative, it's getting harder and harder to not look like a kook.
One of his last radio programs before he died, he's like, these fuckers are kooks.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
About Noah, and then the rains came.
What? Hold on.
Will start calling us, particularly the president, crazy. They said the same thing about Noah, and then the rains came, and all the fact checkers drowned. We need to keep our focus on why we're here. Here's why we're here. President Trump won, aside from the fact that I think he's high energy and authentic, and he doesn't talk down to people on 4 issues. Inflation, border security, national security, and the fact that Vice President Harris and President Biden staffed their administration with a bunch of people who majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers.
What?
All they wanted to do was sit around all day and talk about climate change and whether a man can breastfeed. We've got to address those 4 issues in a bill. It's called reconciliation. We'll get no help from the Democrats, so we'll have to do it through a mechanism called reconciliation, which only requires a majority vote. That requires us to stick together. Let me say it again. I don't care whether we do 1 bill or 2. What I do care about is that everybody remember, we can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The American people have given us a year, at best. We've got to produce.
Ducky, you say he really thinks he's cooking. I can prove to you that he absolutely thought he was cooking. He's the one that shared this clip out. That's where I got it from. Oh, he absolutely thought he was cooking with that one. I didn't just see him for like Fox News or Right Wing Watch or whatever the fuck. No. John Kennedy himself shared it out. Trump, yet again today, signing a slew of executive orders. Let's get caught up on everything the dumb fuck's been doing.
NewsHour. In less than 24 hours, President Donald Trump unleashed a wave of executive actions, some that will take effect immediately, some that will be challenged in court, and some whose potential impacts are more vague.
And the president promises more executive actions in the near future. That's as his cabinet takes shape and as he moves to purge the federal government of those he views as disloyal to him. On the second day of President Donald Trump's second term,
take away the arrogance and hatred which infect our hearts.
He and his family attended the National Cathedral prayer service, a bit of tradition for a president who so often defies them.
So this is a big one.
Within hours of taking the oath of office, an historic blitz of executive actions signed on his first day.
We're getting rid of all of the cancer. I call it cancer. The cancer caused by the Biden administration.
Nearly 80 of them, immediate reversals of Biden-era policies, as well as withdrawals from things like the Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Organization. Many more of them also controversial.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon. Yes. Full pardon.
With the stroke of a pen undoing the largest criminal investigation and prosecution in U.S. history. Blanket pardons or commutations of sentences for those charged with crimes for the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Among them rioters who violently attacked police and more than a dozen members of far-right groups, including Enrique Tarrio of the Proud Boys and Stuart Rhodes of the Oath Keepers, who are convicted of seditious conspiracy in plotting the Capitol attack. At a rally before signing the order, President Trump repeatedly referred to January 6th rioters as hostages, while standing on stage with families of Israeli hostages.
We're going to release our great hostages that didn't do, for the most part, they didn't do stuff wrong.
Yeah, we've got more human cases of bird flu.
Capitol Police.
That next pandemic might be sooner than later.
When people attack law enforcement officers, the criminals should be met with consequences, condemnation, and accountability. On the issue of immigration, President Trump declared a national emergency at the southern border. Cities like Chicago and Washington, D.C. are now bracing for widespread raids to deport unauthorized immigrants.
I wouldn't call them raids or target enforcement operations. They know exactly who they're looking for. They know pretty much where they'll find them. There's going to be more collateral arrests in sanctuary cities because they forced us to go in the community and find the guy we're looking for.
It's an executive order relating to reforms to the federal workforce, including to the senior executive service.
Another sweeping executive order will make it easier to fire federal employees considered disloyal to the administration, converting career federal workers into essentially political appointees the president could fire at will. Mr. Trump already taking action on that front, posting on his social media platform that he'll be firing more than 1,000 political appointees across the government. As his new administration ousted U.S. Coast Guard Commandant Linda Fagan, the first woman in charge of a U.S. military branch. A top Trump DHS official accusing her of, quote, leadership deficiency.
Yeah, purges of the government throughout history have not been a good thing.
Border security. And President Trump continues to threaten tariffs against China, Canada, and Mexico, saying he may even go beyond that.
Well, you put a universal tariff on anybody doing business in the United States because they're coming in and they're stealing our wealth, they're stealing our jobs, they're stealing our companies.
Today, the president continued his breakneck pace of laying out his priorities and staffing up his new administration. Sitting down with Republicans.
The concept of free trade is not stealing my wealth and is actually probably pretty beneficial to me. The problem is corporations, the capitalistic incentive to undercut U.S. labor force and go find cheap labor elsewhere and import it back in. And if tariffs were used to that end in order to put an end to that practice, I'm totally down with them. But that's not what we're talking about here. And Trump is a dumb fuck.
Republican House and Senate leadership to discuss the legislative agenda of the new Congress.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
And he already has his first cabinet member, newly sworn-in Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who was confirmed by the Senate unanimously last night. 2 more cabinet picks had hearings today, Elise Stefanik for the U.S. ambassador role at the UN, and Doug Collins to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs.
We'll get to that. Let's talk about the consequences of one of the executive orders. Remember how one of the biggest wins for the Biden administration was allowing Medicare, Medicaid to negotiate drug prices, and we got, what is it? We were up to like 30 different of the most popular drugs. Under 30, insulin, $35, capped at $35. That was the biggest win of the Biden administration. Gone.
This is one of the many executive orders from President Trump, and it cancels out an earlier executive order from President Biden, who at the time said the goal of this was to try and potentially lower drug prices for Medicaid and Medicare patients. In his sweeping set of orders, President Trump says he was reversing some deeply unpopular, inflationary, illegal, and radical practices within the federal government agencies. This particular program was designed to have Medicaid and Medicare look at ways to lower drug costs, including $2 generics.
You know, the generics industry, we had sort of mixed emotions about it. On the one hand, we really want patients to benefit from affordable generic medicines, and getting them at lower, almost no cost is a really valuable tool. But I think at a higher level, what we're hoping to accomplish, and perhaps can still accomplish under, you know, the new administration is to have some more programmatic reforms to the overall insurance marketplace.
Reaction to this from Democrats is what you would expect. The national party saying this is part of a dangerous plan to jack up drug prices. And at this point, it doesn't seem as if this current executive order will jeopardize any plans for Medicare to negotiate lower prices with certain medications in the near future. In West Palm Beach, Matt Cesney.
Now, as I understood it, the $35 insulin is over. But I guess, I guess they still have the ability to negotiate going forward. Let's keep it on healthcare here. Let's talk about the potential impacts. You brought up the next pandemic, which is not if, but when at this point. Potential impacts of Trump's decision to withdraw from the World Health Organization.
With executive orders issued yesterday, President Trump also delivered on a campaign promise to withdraw the United States from the World Health Organization. The White House accuses the WHO of mishandling the COVID-19 pandemic, bias towards China, and says the U.S. is forced to pay more than its fair share to support the international organization. For more on the potential implications of this, we're joined now by Lawrence Gostin, law professor and director of the World Health Organization and Collaborating Center at Georgetown University. Lawrence, welcome back. Thanks for being with us. You know, in your Washington Post op-ed today, you said leaving the WHO would be what you called a grave mistake that would hurt Americans. How so? What's the potential harm here?
Well, thank you for having me, Amna. I believe this is a truly historic decision. The United States really formed the World Health Organization in 1948 and has been its most influential and greatest funder for 75 years. This is going to make America decidedly less safe, less secure. And it's hard for me to think of any national advantage that we get. I only see us alone and isolated, not stronger.
You mentioned the U.S. has been its greatest funder for WHO. If you take a look at this graphic, we should just point out these. Look at
Don't get overwhelmed.
Sources.
Bernie said it earlier.
US there at the top, but there's other groups like
we have
the
to be
World
well organized.
Foundation, countries like Germany, UK, and Japan. But the U.S. is responsible for some 1/6 of the organization's budget. So is President Trump's characterization that the U.S. is shouldering an unfair financial burden here wrong?
Yes, actually, I think it is wrong, but it's not totally wrong. Let me explain. The WHO has a budget of roughly 1/4 of the US CDC. So for a global institution, it's chronically underfunded. It doesn't have the resilience and funding that it needs to put out fires all over the world. So the United States shouldn't pay less, but other countries should pay more. China should, India, the Gulf states, many other middle-income countries. So I think that Trump would do a much greater service to the United States and the world if he stayed in and he negotiated a deal. Yes, let's make WHO more resilient. Let's fund it better. Let's make it more powerful. And let's make it more accountable with financial oversight. But leaving it would gravely damage United States national interests and world health writ large. It's not really like the border where you can kind of seal off the Mexican border so that you can stop immigrants. Germs don't know borders. And a United States without WHO is a United States alone and isolated and more fragile and vulnerable.
Pulling out of the organization means that the U.S. would lose access to the World Health Organization's global public health data, too, which you said would leave agencies like the CDC flying blind. Help make that real for us. What is the potential harm that you are worried about?
I see this as the greatest self-inflicted wound that this executive order has put for us. I mean, it is a grave wound to WHO, but I think it's a more grievous wound to the United States. Here's why. The World Health Organization leads a vast network of public health agencies, laboratories, and international scientists that constantly track novel outbreaks and shares data. Without that, CDC doesn't have an early warning. We can't respond. And so we're weaker, we're less prepared. But here's more, and I think it's really important. Our pharmaceutical industry, the NIH, needs these data to develop vaccines, therapies, and other life-saving tools that we rely on. If you remember back to COVID-19 and Operation Warp Speed, and Trump gets a lot of credit for that, we were at front of the line for vaccines. We may be near the back of the line because we're not going to get data about how these viruses are evolving, what we can do to respond to them and create vaccines.
Lawrence Gostin, thank you so much.
I mean, we've already got more human cases of bird flu since the last time I talked to you. We've had outbreaks in other countries. I don't think the news is actually doing it justice how severely mismanaged we have been in containing H1N1, H5N1, whatever the fuck. They're, like, both of them are going around at the same time. I don't know. Like, it may not happen this year. It may not happen next year, but it's probably going to happen within the next, 2 or 3 years. It's possible it happens in the next 2 or 3 months. And what is gonna go on with? So he literally ran on lowering grocery prices over the next 2 or 3 months. For sure, egg prices and chicken prices continue to rise. There's like the fucking carton of eggs is gonna be $8-9 by the summer. What the fuck are they gonna? What are they gonna say about that? What are the Trumpers gonna? How are they going to shrug that one off? I mean, they're already $8 or $9 in some of the higher end stores. Yeah, Torch, I had to correct myself. If you're getting your eggs at Trader Joe's or Earth Fare or some like store like that, you might already be paying $8 or $9 a carton of eggs. What are they at? Like, they're at like $5 or $6 right now, aren't they? Like national average. Josephus, $4 is about what I'm paying at Kroger. And but I specifically shop at Kroger because it's one of the cheaper stores that's unionized. I had this conversation with Curious the other day. And it has some of the best groceries. I like its generic brand of things. They have a really good meat department. But yeah, about $4 is what I'm paying. Maybe even less. Maybe even like $3.50. Yeah, $4 for large. Yeah. I'm down with that. I usually get the big 18. They might be 5 something or other. I do try to get the free range ones and shit. Because, like, I see a lot of people are like, how do you justify eating meat? And it's like, well, it's kind of human nature and everything. But I want the animals to be treated humanely. I like to end our factory farming system, and we should be at one. Like, I love the whole on Gordon Ramsay's F word, how he raises an animal and teaches his kids about, sustainability and being respectful of the animal. And when you slaughter it after you've treated it well, you use all of it. And we need to be one with nature. I have nothing against you if you want to be a vegetarian or a vegan, and I will even do my best to accommodate you if you're over at my house eating. I don't understand people getting irrationally mad at vegetarians or vegans. Like, what? Why? Like, I don't understand. Like, why does somebody's dietary preference have any bearing on your life? But people, like, get fucking pissed. Oh, DJ Dub, we love you too. And I fucking love Warlord. That's why he's the head mod. Prometheus, I don't know if I told you good evening. We're building a cool little community. Like, you guys are awesome. You make the show so much better. I'm like the worst part of this experience. Oh, our next story, you're gonna hate me for this one. I've already busted it out once tonight, and you're gonna make me do it again. You didn't make me do it. I made me do it. Representative Dan Crenshaw pushes Apple to use Gulf of America on maps. Representative Dan Crenshaw urged Apple to officially change the name of the Gulf of Mexico on its mapping platform following President Trump's Monday executive order declaring the landmass the Gulf of America. I don't think he has the power to do that. Him signing an executive order that calls it the Gulf of America, I don't know who has the power to do that, to be completely honest with you. But God, if I could, I'd give anything I own to piss in Representative Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir. If you're unaware, my beef with Dan Crenshaw goes back to his he's against the woke. Right? He's against the woke. But he made
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
He made a big stink about Pete Davidson, making a joke about him on Saturday Night Live. Lorne Michaels made Pete Davidson apologize to the stupid fuck. And ever since then, I wanted to piss in his eye pussy. Today he tweeted out, "Hey, Tim Cook, just noticed Apple Maps still calls it the Gulf of Mexico. Sent a report through the app, but thought you'd want to know," Crenshaw wrote in a Tuesday post, tagging the company's CEO. The former president's move comes days after. I like how they call him the former president. Come days after Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced a measure in the House to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. The similar bill was offered by Democratic State Representative Stephen Holland in 2012 in a satirical effort directed at Republican lawmakers. Trump earlier today at a press conference was asked about TikTok. By the way, Kesha came out and was like, if you're talking about TikTok, why not the 2012 hit TikTok? And I was like, is that the one that mentions P. Diddy at the beginning? Like, why are you bringing attention to that?
On TikTok, Mr. President?
Well, let me do this first.
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
Say it.
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
I would be if he wanted to buy it.
Have you discussed it with Larry Ellison?
I'd like Larry to buy it too.
Bays, good evening.
Deal. So the deal I'm thinking about, Larry, let's negotiate in front of the media. The deal I think is this, and I've met with owners of TikTok, the big owners. It's worthless if it doesn't get a permit. It's not like, oh, you can take the U.S. The whole thing is worthless. With a permit, it's worth like $1 trillion. So what I'm thinking about saying to somebody is buy it and give half to the United States of America, half, and we'll give you the permit.
Oh my God, Prometheus, that would be hilarious. If Democrats take back control, they need to author a bill to rename it the Gulf of They Them. That would make Republican heads explode.
They'll have a great partner, the United States, and they'll have something that's actually more valuable because they have the ultimate partner, and the United States will make it very worth.
I mean, why go 50%? Why not go full-on communism? Let's own the whole motherfucker.
Well, for them in terms of the permits and everything else. But so think of it. You have an asset that has no value or has $1 trillion value. It all depends on whether or not the United States gives the permit. So what I'm saying is let the United States give the permit, and the United States should get half. Sounds reasonable. What do you think?
Sounds like a good deal to me, Mr. President.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Mr. President.
With a stupid mustache. He kind of looked like Scott McAfee. No, it was John McAfee. Who's Scott McAfee? Did I just make up Scott McAfee? It was John McAfee. That was the crazy motherfucker. It was the libertarian candidate for president that killed people in the Caribbean or some shit. You guys know he's the dude that invented like McAfee, antivirus, that dude. Fascinating man. Might have killed himself, might have been mysterious circuit. He was nuts. Highly recommend. He is dead. There's a documentary on him. Highly recommend it. Hulu, Netflix, HBO, I don't know. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy was able to block John Ratcliffe's advancement in the Senate, sending Tom Cotton off the deep end.
Arkansas.
I ask consent to end the quorum call.
Is there objection? Without objection.
Mr. President, unfortunately, we were at the point of almost having a consent agreement to have a vote on the confirmation of John Ratcliffe to be the CIA director tomorrow. Not today, not yesterday when it should have happened, but tomorrow. But the senator from Connecticut has decided to object at the last minute. I don't really understand the objection to Mr. Ratcliffe. He was confirmed by this Senate to be the Director of National Intelligence. He was fully vetted through the bipartisan process on the Senate Intelligence Committee. We voted him out yesterday on a 14-3 vote. Senator Schumer stood here yesterday and talked about how we're going to cooperate on highly qualified, capable nominees with integrity, which John Ratcliffe is. Yet the only vote we got yesterday was...
Is he?
Now we're not going to have a vote today, and apparently we're not going to have a vote tomorrow. Which means I hope nobody's making any plans for the weekend or the evenings. We're going to get these nominees confirmed, starting with Mr. Ratcliffe, and then moving on to Mr. Hegseth and moving on to Mr. Noem, the easy way or the hard way. We tried to cooperate with the Democrats. The cooperation has not been forthcoming. So I guess it's going to be the hard way.
I like that scene in Is It Back to the Future 2 where they're like, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And they smack him with the, I think the barrel of a gun. It's been a long time since I've seen him. They're like, everything goes black. They're like, the easy way.
Starting on Thursday. So, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that at a time to be determined by the majority leader, nominees confirmed, starting with Mr. Ratcliffe, and then moving on to Mr. Hegseth and moving on to Mr. Noem, the easy way or the hard way. We tried to cooperate.
He did say Mr. Noem.
The cooperation has not been forthcoming. So I guess...
Did we just learn something about Christie?
Starting on Thursday. So, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that at a time to be determined by the majority leader, in consultation with the Democratic leader on January 22nd, the Senate proceed to executive session to consider Executive Calendar Number 1, John Ratcliffe to be the director of the CIA. And there be up to 2 hours of debate equally divided between the two leaders of their designees on the nomination, and that following the use or yielding back at that time, the Senate vote on the nomination. That if confirmed, the motion to reconsider be considered and made and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate. That no further motions be in order to the nomination, that any related statements be printed in the record, that the President be immediately notified of the Senate's action, and the Senate resume legislative session.
Is there objection?
Mr. President.
I object.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reserving the right to object. As the Senator knows, there are serious concerns that many of us have about John Ratcliffe's ability to distance himself from the political interests of President Trump in his work as CIA director during his short 8 months as DNI in 2020. He repeatedly politicized intelligence in a way that does raise, for many of us, real questions about whether he's going to spin highly sensitive intelligence his agency will gather for political purposes. I don't think it's too much to ask to make sure that we have a full, real debate that lasts 2 days on the Senate floor, given the serious questions that have arisen about his qualifications to do this job in a political manner. I understand that we have differences about the qualifications of this nominee, but it is important for the American public to hear us have a debate here about the qualifications of folks who are going to be leading the most sensitive national security agencies. If he's got the votes, he can be on the job this weekend. And for that reason, I would object.
Objection is heard. The senator from Arkansas.
It's fine if the Democrats have legitimate concerns with this nominee or any other nominee. We had legitimate concerns with President Biden's nominee. Come down to the floor. Get it off your chest. We talk about a full and rolled debate for 2 days.
Get a titty slap.
I hate to disappoint people watching here. You're probably seeing more debate than we'll have on John Ratcliffe's nomination for the next 48 hours before we confirm him. That's what I predict. We could have debated this any time today. We debated it for 2 months in the Intelligence Committee. The senator from Virginia, the vice chair of the committee, worked diligently and promptly with me, his team, with my team, to process this nomination. So it would be ready.
He looks like a dude I went to high school with.
On a bipartisan basis, 14-3. Not many other nominees are going to come out of committee with that kind of vote. So I understand that Democrats are opposed to some of President Trump's nominees. And I understand
I can see the droopy dog.
And I respect that. But should we be denying the country a Senate-confirmed CIA director in such dangerous times for no good reason? Again,
seemed like the Democrats had a good reason.
Invite him to come down to the floor and speak again if there is a lot more to say.
And fuck the CIA.
So that once again, this will be the longest debate we have about John Ratcliffe's nomination over the next 2 days. What this is really about is trying to drag out all of these nominations to play procedural games, as we're about to with Pete Hegseth's nomination, to try to deny President Trump his cabinet in a prompt and timely fashion, just like the Democrats did in 2017.
Just like the Republicans always do.
One as well, because around here, the shoe gets on the other foot pretty quickly. But it didn't happen in 2009, it didn't happen in 2001 or before that, and we should get back to that practice. We should especially get back to that practice when it is a highly accomplished, well-qualified nominee of integrity like John Ratcliffe is. So I regret that now we're going to spin our wheels for 2 days, but as I said, don't make plans for the weekend. Don't have...
Sure, everybody's working for the weekend. Princess Kimberly, good evening. I'm glad he brought up Pete Hegseth. Senators received a new report about Hegseth earlier today.
Senators have received an affidavit which contains new allegations against President Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Yesterday, the Republican-led Senate Armed Services Committee voted along party lines and sent his nomination to the full Senate for confirmation. Of course, that was before these new details emerged against Hegseth, a former Fox News host and military veteran. Joining us now, NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin, who has new reporting on this. Julie
Gergen,
about these allegations here.
Well, the allegations so far are in this affidavit that are being viewed by senators. They detail potential abuse that Samantha Hegseth experienced at the hands of Pete Hegseth. I want to be clear that we were in contact with
his sister,
the second wife of Pete Hegseth, his ex-wife, who said that she has not experienced physical abuse at the hands of her ex-husband, who is now days away potentially from being confirmed by the Senate to be Trump's Secretary of Defense. It's a major position. There were questions about his qualification before all of these allegations came to light. We've been working on this for weeks. You'll remember that in his confirmation hearing last Tuesday, there was a moment in which the Republican chairman, Roger Wicker, entered into the record a document from his divorce with Samantha Hegseth in which both of them signed that they were not victims of any domestic abuse. In this case now, with the signed affidavit by Samantha Hegseth and Pete Hegseth's former sister-in-law, Danielle, she said...
Oh, it was the former sister-in-law.
...told her that during the course of the marriage, Pete Hegseth would act in a way toward her that made her fear for her safety. Now, this is so fast developing I want to tell you that Reid, who is the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee that has been handling his nomination, had sent a letter to Danielle Hegseth over the weekend asking her to detail any instances of abuse or any threatening behavior that she experienced. She says, by the way, in this signed affidavit, signed by her on the record that is currently being reviewed by senators, that she knows of some of these allegations to be true because of her personal interactions with Pete Hegseth, who she described as aggressive. St. Clair.
And Julie, what sort of reaction, you mentioned Reid, what kind of reaction are we hearing from senators?
Well, Republicans who are viewing this affidavit, I am told at least 5 of them have viewed this document already in a closed-door private setting. There are, of course, 2 versions. One of them is unredacted, and that is what senators are able to view. At least 5 of those senators who viewed it, there are still questions over whether they will go forward in supporting Pete Hegseth's nomination.
Come on, Joni.
Remember what we were hearing? Anonymous smears from Hegseth, from his lawyer, telling us that these allegations are untrue because they were anonymous. This changes the game. Sure, it is Danielle Hegseth. It is an ex-sister.
Is it Lila? Welcome in. Thank you for being a freaking follower.
Confidant of Samantha Hegseth during this time. And we are starting to hear as well from Democrats. I spoke to Leader Schumer about this, who is the top Democrat in the Senate. He told me that he had a chance to talk to somebody directly who walked him through all of the allegations laid out in this affidavit. He didn't see it himself yet, but he says that these allegations are disturbing. Jack Reed gave us a statement exclusively this morning saying that they are so disturbing that he wants them to take a break, take a pause, and try and see, first of all, why none of this information made it into the FBI background check. We know that the FBI had interviewed Danielle Hegseth. We reported last week that none of this information or anything having to do with his ex-wives was in that report provided by Trump transition officials to senators who were considering his nomination. These are all questions that Democrats are asking, but Republicans are asking them too. And of course, that is key because Republicans control this chamber here, St. Clair.
And Julie, to that end, we know Republicans still control the Senate. We also know that Hegseth's initial performance in his public confirmation hearing was well received. So to that end, how might that impact things?
Well, yesterday they reported his nomination out of the committee on party line votes, 14-13. What that means is that now it's out of the hands of the committee that held that hearing that you're referring to. Now it goes to the full Senate floor for a vote. That vote, I'm told, could happen as early as Thursday. In the meeting yesterday, Democrats tried to hit pause, asking for at least a week so they could consider some of these new allegations that were beginning to swirl around. Republican Chairman Roger Wicker said no, they moved forward with the vote. As it stands now, the vote could happen as soon as Thursday, and then if a majority of Republican senators vote to confirm him, he will be Trump's Secretary of Defense, guys.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
Shut up, Lester.
News and top stories.
You have reached the office of Senator Joni Ernst. Please leave a message.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Good evening, Senator Ernst. I am highly disappointed. Oh, it's JustinFREAKIN again, the YouTube Twitch host that's called a few different times. I hope the feds don't come visit me. But I'm highly disappointed about your vote to advance Hegseth out of the Armed Services Committee. You could have stopped him there. Now we have new allegations that have come out about him, so I hope when the full Senate votes, you will do the right thing and vote against Pete Hegseth. Because, I really don't think he has any business being the Secretary of Defense. I mean, you're the senator and I'm not. I understand that, but, and this doesn't affect my feelings about you. You can still be my GOP mommy, even if you vote for Pete Hegseth, because I think you're very attractive. So, once again, thank you, Senator Ernst. Have a great evening. I will talk to you again soon. She is a lovely lady. She looks like she'd be a lot of fun behind closed doors, too. She wasn't gonna vote for him. I just take up for my GOP mommy. She wasn't gonna vote for him. But she's facing a re-election, so I can cut her some slack.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Oh God. Oh no, what's my... Oh. Here we go. I had comments from Marco Rubio on Ukraine. He was on with CBS this morning. Donald Trump promising to end the war in Ukraine on the first day. Did not. Somebody was in here earlier talking about how Trump keeps his promises. No, he doesn't.
Things that President Trump said during his campaign run was that he would end the war in Ukraine on day one. That did not happen. How do you reconcile with the fact that he made a lot of promises and now it might be up to you and the team to keep these promises?
I'm not high enough for this shit.
The promise the president made, really, if you look at it, is it's going to be the priority. It's going to be the official policy of the United States that the war in Ukraine needs to come to an end. It is a stalemate. It's a war and it's a conflict that was started by Russia. But it is now a stalemate, a protracted and bloody conflict, been incredibly destructive. I would argue for both Russia and Ukraine, but Ukraine is paying the biggest price of all to its energy infrastructure, to the people and lives that have lost, to the millions of Ukrainians that have had to leave their countries and are living overseas. The conflict needs to end. And it's a policy of the United States that we want it to end. We want to do everything we can to help it end. We're going to...
Did you guys see that mustache? Holy shit. That dude crushes pussy. Unlike little Marco. Elise Stefanik, who is Trump's pick for UN ambassador, was asked today about fucking Chris Murphy again, all over tonight's show. Senator Chris Murphy asking UN ambassador nominee Elise Stefanik about Elon Musk and his Nazi salute yesterday.
What do you think of Elon Musk, perhaps the president's most visible advisor, doing 2 Heil Hitler salutes last night at the president's televised rally?
No, Elon Musk did not do those salutes. I was not at the rally, but I can tell you I've been at many rallies with Elon Musk, who loves to cheer when President Trump says we need to send, our U.S. space program to Mars. Elon Musk...
I'm sorry, but she can also be my GOP mommy. She looking good in that suit.
Is a visionary. I'm looking forward to his work in Doge, the Department of Efficiency, and look forward to looking how we can be more efficient and effective. But that is simply not the case. And to say so is the American people are smart. They see through it. They support Elon Musk. We are proud to be the country of such successful entrepreneurs. That is one of our greatest strengths as Americans.
Let me share with you what a few Americans have said about it. Evan Kilgore, a right-wing political commentator, wrote on X, "Holy crap, did Elon Musk just Heil Hitler at the Trump inauguration rally? This is incredible. We are so back." Andrew Torba, who's the founder of the right-wing Christian nationalist social platform Gab, said incredible things are happening as he amplified the visual.
Don't worry, the ADL said it was fine.
In Ohio, posted the
He's just autistic.
On a Telegram channel with the text Heil Trump. A chapter of the white nationalist group White Lives Matter posted it on Telegram. Thanks for hearing us, Elon. The white flame will rise again. I could keep going. Over and over last night, white supremacist groups and neo-Nazi groups in this country rallied around that visual. Does it concern you that those elements of the neo-Nazi and white supremacist element in the United States believe that what they saw last night was a neo-Nazi salute?
What concerns me is these are the questions you believe are most important to ask to the UN ambassador. I have a very strong record when it comes to combating anti-Semitism. We just had a historic election where President Trump earned historic support from American voters because of his strong leadership combating anti-Semitism, which has been a scourge across the country, skyrocketing since October 7th. So I intend to bring moral clarity to this position and continue to speak out as a voice, as a beacon of light, condemning anti-Semitism at the United Nations, which is representative of President Trump's record and President Trump's promises that he made on the campaign trail.
You are right. These are the questions I choose to ask because I think that your work and the administration's work on anti-Semitism only comes with real impact and credibility if it holds both right and left accountable. I simply don't believe that if a member of the squad made that same gesture last night, that there wouldn't be commentary from you and others. So I want to make sure that our work has credibility, and credibility comes with calling anti-Semitism and anti-Semitism behavior out when it comes from both the right and the left.
American voters, because of his strong leadership, combat.
She's got really pretty eyes. Can't help it. That's all I was thinking the whole time. The Nazis certainly think it was a Nazi salute.
And then the straight up, that was a serious Roman. It wasn't even like a subtle, a wave, like one of these, like a Laura Ingraham. Remember when Laura Ingraham did that? That was a straight up, Sig Heil, loving Hitler energy. that was like a straight up with intensity Roman salute. And then the straight up.
Look how happy he is. Absolutely giddy about it. You heard Senator Murphy run down the list of all the white supremacist organizations that absolutely thought it was a Nazi salute. Musk fanboys dared to show just how far their fealty goes. People who don't think Tesla's CEO flashed a Nazi salute yesterday. If you haven't seen it, pretty Nazi-ish. The tech mogul managed to divide social media on Monday after he gave a salute to President Donald Trump at the inauguration that looked suspiciously like the trademark Heil Hitler. Others took the "if it walks like a duck" approach, which I pointed out Musk's grandparents were Nazis. Musk's daughter has called him a Nazi. Considering opinion seems divided on social media, some folks decided the best way to prove or disprove whether Musk's Trump salute was Nazi-inspired was to issue a challenge to his supporters. Oh, God. No, they didn't. Okay.
In Germany and in Austria. So anybody minded to tell me that that's not what Elon Musk was doing must encourage him to go and do it in Germany and see what.
There you go.
And in fact, if you don't think it was a Nazi salute, why don't you do it at parents' night next time you're at your kid's school? Or just do it now if you're at work and see what happens. I think that's probably the best way to test it. Do it. Make sure you do it twice as well, and make sure you hit your chest first before you throw your arm in the air.
Fuck yeah. I love that dude. That's James O'Brien. Yeah, James O'Brien. I've seen a lot of people share this picture out with. I'd have to go back and look at the video. Stephen Colbert is probably mocking people doing a Nazi salute. Obama is probably just holding his hand out or some shit. Because that's the way he would fucking hold his hand out like this. I don't know what Harris was doing. Hillary's clearly waving. I remember that speech from Elizabeth Warren. I don't remember her giving a Nazi salute. Yeah, I feel like all those are just stills out of context, whereas, we played the whole Elon Musk video. insane winter weather hitting most of the South. Holy shit. It's fucking cold here. I'm tired of the cold. Please make it stop. Places that have never gotten snow before. Never had a snow warning. Got a snow warning today. The Gulf Coast getting hit with snow. Places in Florida hit with snow.
That's blanketing the majority of the country, and the historic snow that's falling in the South. Right now, tens of millions of people from the Rockies to the Northeast are dealing with below freezing temperatures. Just take a look at that. In Chicago, it feels like 23 degrees below zero. Along the Gulf Coast, people are experiencing something they rarely see: snow. Parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Florida are facing their first blizzard warnings ever. Here to help us understand it all, meteorologist Bill Cairns tracking the worst of it. But let's start with NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson in a snowy Texas. Priscilla.
Yes, I played the video with audio yesterday multiple times. Nothing changes. It's still a fucking Nazi salute. You, like, historians up and down Twitter are like, that's a fucking Nazi salute.
And not often that we say that about Houston. How are people coping out there, and what are officials doing to make sure everyone stays safe?
Yeah, as in Clay, Houston definitely does not normally look like this, and I will tell you, people have been enjoying it, getting out with the sleds, building snowmen, all of the fun things, but there are also some really serious concerns here. You've got major travel disruptions with all of the airports in Houston shut down. Also, Pensacola airport's now shutting down. Tallahassee airport's also shutting down, so a lot of travel.
Damn.
And there are also concerns for what's happening on the roadways, with the potential that now that the snow has stopped, it could turn into ice, as we're still dealing with those below freezing temperatures. So officials continuing to urge people to go by foot to that park if you want to have a good time, but don't try to get on the roads and drive. And of course, for people here in Texas who lived through the 2021 winter freeze, where they lost power for days, pipes were bursting, there were some real concerns about those types of preparations. And I want to play a conversation that I had with one.
I think my pipes are frozen.
Feels about how things are going this time around. Take a listen.
Knock on wood, I'm not that concerned. I think we were a little more prepared, and I haven't lost power or heard whispers of power being lost, so I feel a little better. And I think it's supposed to warm up by the end of the week, so hopefully they've done their preparation.
Now, there are more than 30,000 people without power here in Texas right now, but nothing major like what we saw in 2021. But I will say this is.
Oh, I left my sink
dripping. Already, there has been.
I think my kitchen sink and my toilet are on a different set of pipes.
We've seen reports of major accidents as portions of interstates and highways are shutting down because of that ice that I mentioned. Isn't Clay?
Yeah, important people stay safe. Priscilla, thanks. Bill, let's bring you in now. Where else are you tracking?
Because I've got a cat that likes to drink from the sink, so I leave it open, just kind of a little slow drip all the time, because he goes in there and just fucking lets it hit his head, and he'll come in and his entire head be wet and shit.
Winter alerts, and how rare
he loves it.
Kind of weather.
He gets in the shower with me.
I mean, there's two sides of this. One is the part that's like, it's unbelievable to these kids and to people seeing this much snow in these areas. And it's fine for today, but when we get in the next 2 days and people still can't travel and school's canceled all week, the interruption to daily life is going to be significant. We're already at 4 inches in New Orleans. It is still snowing hard.
Oh, my poor buddy Battle Opossum, because I messaged him like Thursday night. Or maybe it was Wednesday night of last week. I was like, oh, you want to play some video games? The kids are still up. They don't go back to school tomorrow. I was like, oh, shit. Well, they ain't going back to school on Friday then. He's like, fuck no, they're not. He's like, Monday's a holiday. And I was like, oh, we're supposed to get more snow, too. So his kid's probably still out of school. He's got 3.
In downtown. This is going to be record-breaking in the modern era. We have 1 10-inch total. By the way, Houston ended up with one measurement of 4 inches just outside of downtown. The blue on the map is the snow, and it has been snowing hard in New Orleans for the last couple hours. They picked up 3 inches in 2 hours.
Now we just go out and play bumper cars, Josephus.
7 to 8 inches. Historic storm for you. Both easily one of your largest snowstorms ever. We're comparing it to something in 1895. Another 3 to 5.
Wow.
Tallahassee, Savannah, 3 to 6 in Clay. And they've only had 2.5 inches is the record in Savannah. So we still have historic storm still to go.
Really?
Thanks for watching.
Oh, shut up, Lester.
News and
I wasn't expecting him that time. I selected like a CBS News report earlier. I was like, no. I'm going to go back and get the NBC one. Just so I can say, shut up, Lister. I do it on purpose now. I'm sorry. Here's a bird getting some fur from a fox to go build a nest. So I'll give you a twofer. You got a sleeping fox. That's super cool. And then you got a cute little bird. Isn't nature wonderful? Here's a Smokey. You want a Smokey too? You get triple threat on animals tonight. He's such an awesome cat. I love this cat so much. Yeah, buddy. Twitch people, stick around. I'm going to stay on for a little bit, 20, 30 minutes or so. We're going to hang out. But I'm not getting up to go get another cat. The other two are like comfy over there on the bed. Oh, I don't even see Maynard. I see Socks. I would have thought Maynard was over here. You just got a cat. That fulfilled catness. I don't want to get up. It's cold, Prometheus. I don't want to get out from under my... I don't want to get out from under my cover. I mean, if I must, I'm a man of the people. You know that. But you get a cat on the other side of me turning off YouTube and the podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're listening to the podcast... go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before we hit the sack.